From Carol Barta for the Manhattan Resiliency Coalition.
Good evening. My name is Carol Barta, and I'm here tonight representing the Manhattan Resiliency Coalition. I currently reside on Hunter's Island in the 3rd District. I've lived in Riley County for over 15 years, and during that time, I've owned 3 houses, all older. At each of these houses, I worked to make changes that increased their energy efficiency and moderated their use of both water and energy. In my current home, I had the folks from the Kansas Building Science Institute conduct an energy audit. After getting the results, I added insulation, installed energy efficient windows and doors, changed from a natural gas furnace to an above ground heat pump, added a smart water heater, LED fixtures, low flow toilet and shower, and an energy efficient fridge. The house came with a wonderful clothesline. I installed rain barrels and planted a variety of drought-tolerant native plants. In 2015, with the help of the Flint Hills Renewable Energy and Efficiency Co-op, also known as FREAK, I installed a photovoltaic system which provides a substantial amount of the power my house uses. In fact, my current bill, which accounts for most of August, is just $36. You may wonder why I would go to all this trouble, spend time and money to make a house efficient and reliable and reliant on renewable energy. And my reasons are twofold. As human beings, I believe we need to rein in our use of energy in a serious way before we don't have any choice in the matter. Being energy efficient is critical to becoming resilient. It is critical to the future well-being to make our community as resilient as possible. And second, I'm pretty frugal, and some might say cheap. I made these changes because I believe this is a good way to live, but it would have been much easier if the county offered incentives to property owners to make energy efficiency a priority. The federal tax rebate was a great incentive to install solar panels, but there was no county incentive to make any of the other changes. When homes and businesses are not energy efficient, a greater share of the owners or renters' money flows out of our community to the electric and gas companies. Money that could be spent in local businesses leaves town because the buildings use too much energy. If their dollars weren't going towards inefficiency, businesses might be able to afford better wages for their workers, and the workers would have more income to spend around town. What better example could we have than the county complex on the highway north of town? Efficient buildings capable of making much of their own power, costing the taxpayers of Riley County less to operate. The Manhattan Resiliency Coalition feels it is in the best interest of the citizens of Riley County for the Commission to encourage businesses and homeowners to follow that example. Would you commit to creating policies and incentives for the property owners of Riley County, both business and residential, to apply energy efficient and renewable technologies when building and maintaining their properties? This could also extend to a mandate for businesses seeking tax abatement as part of economic development incentives to create energy efficient buildings and encourage their use of renewable energy.
Mr. McKinley.
I do support adding energy efficiency to commercial and residential properties, new construction and remodeling. I know there have been incentives at the state and federal level for federal efficiency. We used some of those credits when we replaced a water heater several years ago. Some utilities also have rebate programs for energy efficiency. For the county to offer such programs, we would have to find the funding for this. Riley County can look for mechanisms available, such as grants, to help fund that policy, and hopefully find something to do it that way, but they don't have a fund available right at the moment. I do think mandating, I don't know if it needs mandating, but energy efficiency for businesses seeking economic development funds could be a good idea. Most businesses are realizing the long-term benefits of more efficient buildings. I've been in construction for 40 years, and I've seen how the new construction's progressed. The newer the buildings are, the more efficient, because they understand that's a long-term investment that pays off. And I don't think they have to be pushed to it. Most of them can see the benefits of the energy efficient. Like I say, I've seen the changes in the years of my involvement in that.
Ms. Fang.
Yes, I will support policies that move us towards a more sustainable, resilient community. People seem to think that this issue is someone else's problem. Well, it's not. And we need to take responsibility in changing that at the local level. This is why I'm so grateful for you, Carol, and organizations like yours, the Manhattan Resiliency Coalition, who has continued to be a voice of reason and leadership in our community and pushing this work forward. We need you more. We need you now more than ever before. And there are a lot of examples from other communities that are using tax incentives for green businesses. We could most definitely be doing that here as well. It is true with this issue, as it is with any other in this community. If we want to see the change, we have to stand up and fight for it. People and organizations like you are where the change comes from, and I look forward to working with you all and supporting the creation of policies and incentives for property owners to use energy efficient and renewable technologies. Thank you.
Mr. Matta.
You're muted.
Okay. Preface my answer with the caveat that Greg mentioned about funding, because we would have to get that going, but I'm on board with the incentives. The mandates could be a little problematic. I think if the life cycle cost of the project is positive and there's high upfront costs for this prohibitive for the business, that's where we could look in providing some financing. However, if the investment is a net negative ROI or the technology is speculative, I think we should stay away from it. I think you look at the county shops when they put in the windmills, after they got grant money of over $500,000, but then after the grant money ran out for the maintenance costs, the savings in energy didn't even pay for the maintenance costs. We want to avoid those type of things. So I think it's great. We just need to be cautious on some of the investments, make sure they have that positive ROI, and we're not getting into speculative technology.
Ms. Focke.
Okay. Yes, I definitely support using new technology for renewable energy. A lot of the renewable energy, it relates to solar. We used to have solar tax incentives and other kind of incentives to use in remodeling, to use different kinds of appliances and plumbing fixtures, et cetera, that would cut back on the use of energy. I think that we could do more in the county to encourage that use. New construction, of course, there's no codes in the county. I think we need to develop those, that developers now should, anyone building a new home should be aware of what kinds of things they can put into a home when you first build it to make it more energy efficient. When you have to go back in and add, like Carol did, that's great that she did all these things to her house. A lot of people can't afford to do that. So if they're put into the house to begin with, or as you remodel piece by piece, then it's a lot easier financially. But I would really encourage that we need to work on this and talk about it and try to develop some incentives in the county and also in the city to encourage monies in that development. So